When you're thinking about a remote job, you're probably thinking flexible hours, less pressure, being at home, or constant traveling and sending emails by the beach. Some of it is true, some not. I've been working remotely since 2017, so since before it really became a thing in 2020, and those last 7 years were quite different to what I've initially imagined. For example, I've spent majority of my time working from my sofa, not from a tropical location. I've read more documents and messages than ever before, and I've probably worked more hours than I would have in the office. Don't get me wrong, I really love it. I think that working remotely is the way to go for me. I wouldn't change it for anything else, but it's not all flowers and sunshine. To give you a little bit more context, I'm a product designer. I design interfaces similar to this YouTube app, for example, that you're looking at right now when you're watching this video. I work in tech, and because of that, it is possible for me to work remotely at all, and I know it is such a privilege. If I were to choose another profession, like being a dentist, for example, which my mom wanted me to be, and it's a terrible idea for me personally, or being a vet, which was my childhood dream, I would just have to go to the office or to the clinic. When it comes to working remotely, the most common expectation by far is that you'll be working from a different city every week. And it might be true for some people, but majority of my colleagues and myself personally, we do the most travel between the sofa and the fridge. Traveling and working sounds really fun, but how many people actually do it? I have some colleagues who travel every 2 or 3 weeks, and some people never worked and travel. They just enjoy the working from home aspect. Realistically, it depends on your goals. Traveling and working can be really draining because of the change of the routine, the place, and issues with internet connection all over the place. Also, I've recently spoke to one of my colleagues who did traveling and working for like 2 or 3 years constantly. I'm talking 2 or 3 weeks at the same location top, and they are tired of it and look to settle down. So traveling and working can also be a time-constrained adventure for you. Personally, my preferred way to do it would be to travel for longer periods of time, like 3 to 6 months in one location. It takes best out of two worlds because you can establish your routine and you travel to multiple locations over the years. By the way, here is something that I wasn't told about and I would like to tell you now so you're not disappointed as I was once. If you want to travel a lot, you need to be really careful about the company that you choose. It seems logical that if you work remotely, you should be able to travel all year round, but it's not really true. Many companies require you to work from a certain location or country because of security and fiscal reasons. And of course, there are global companies where you can travel without limitations, but you need to know the difference between a global company and a local company that offers working from home. Just something to keep in mind. This next topic may surprise some of you. It seems like in remote companies there should be less pressure on delivering results quickly or on quality of your work, but it's actually quite the opposite. Working remotely is treated as a privilege, and rightfully so. Because of that, remote companies have high standards when it comes to hiring and then checking the quality of your work. The whole thing is based on an agreement that they don't interfere with when and where you do your work, as long as you deliver high-quality results on time. Here's a controversial opinion. Not everyone is able to work remotely, and it's not to say that some people are better or deserve it more. It's more about the character traits and habits that you have. You need to be really ready for it to be successful. Nobody is there to tell you what to do all the time. It is really important to be motivated, disciplined, and a self-starter. And I really hate this word. It sounds like a self-starting sourdough, but it's kind of what it is. The day-to-day looks like this, that you need to wake up, get to work, and make some progress, and there is some level of independence and focus required for this. If you don't have clarity on what you should be working on, you need to reach out to your team and get clarification. This next one might be a little bit weird, but working remotely is so much reading, and unfortunately it's not about books. It's all the chats, documents, threads, comments, and emails, and in my case also design review comments. And it's especially true when you work for an in-house team. It might be a little bit different for freelancers. I've always been reading a lot, so I kinda eased into it, but I was surprised how much time of the day it takes me to catch up with everything. And I've heard so many complaints from other people who are not used to reading long documents and Slack threads that it's really challenging for them. Oh, and also you need to be a really skilled writer, and not in a sense of writing novels or blog posts. It's more about writing concise documents and messages, expressing your ideas very clearly, editing yourself, and getting to the point quickly. One day it just hit me. For all these years, I thought that I'm getting a great deal when it comes to the work-life balance, and then I realized I might have worked more hours at home than I would have in the office, and I wonder how could that happen? For sure, it was my fault because technically I'm responsible for setting up my schedule except for meetings, but I'm still wondering why. I like to think that I'm really selective with my time. I believe that we agree to an exchange where I pour my creativity into your product for a certain number of hours during the day, and in exchange, I get some money. Hopefully, a lot of money. I set up my day so that I work in the morning, then I go to the gym and have some me time in the early afternoon, then I come back home and I have some meetings and do more work in the afternoon and in the evening. With days split like this, you may end up working more than 8 hours without really realizing it. In the past, I caught myself starting my days super early and then staying up way too late. Now that I hear myself saying that, I think it's a little concerning. And if your reaction was like, yeah, you can totally forget about time when working, I think we both had an issue. And I felt so betrayed by myself when I realized that I have been working partially for free for all these years, even though I thought that I was saving time when working from home. Another contributing factor to me working more hours than I would have in the office might be the vacation days. I've noticed that many people who work remotely tend to take less days off, and it might be because you don't need it every single time you travel to visit your family or you take a short trip or when you go to the doctor's office, so you end up working through those days anyways. Recently, I've been thinking, am I an introvert or am I self-isolating? Working remotely is like a heaven for an introvert. You only see people during meetings, which are carefully scheduled. There are no random interactions, no small talk in the kitchen, and personally, I really love it. That being said, last year I've noticed that this isolation started affecting me negatively. I could spend days not leaving the house or just going to the gym, which is downstairs, and also mostly empty. It was winter, I moved to a new place, and I didn't really know many people, and I didn't really have a need to leave the house that much during the week because of delivery of groceries and online shopping. So I just stayed inside, which was not a good idea, and it took me a surprisingly long time to realize that me being angry and sad had a connection with not leaving the house and not talking to people. Probably because I've always believed that I'm an introvert and that this is a normal introvert behavior. It is not. Since I've changed it, I feel so much better. Believe me, go outside, get some sun, touch grass, it's gonna be so much better. And the last thing that I would like to share with you today is the mind-blowing fact that some people who work remotely still choose to go to the office. Usually it's a co-working space. And I've always been laughing like, so you're taking away this remote job from someone who's miserable in the office right now, and you're not even using it, right? And I realize it's a controversial point of view, but I think I still have a point. I don't really like working from outside of home. It kind of defeats the whole purpose of working remotely for me. For me, the biggest perks are no commute, quietness, comfy clothes, and the fact that I can use my bathroom and my kitchen whenever I want. But I understand that people have different needs and conditions, and if you were to work from a small apartment with your children running around, a co-working space seems like a better option. I still wanted to share it with you because I find it fascinating that people put so much effort into getting a remote job and then don't even use the main benefit of it, which is being at home in your pajamas. I've always known that working remotely is the way to go for me. Getting here wasn't that easy though. Getting a remote job, especially these days, is quite difficult. If you feel the same way, let me know in the comments if you would like me to create a video about how to get a remote job. I did it multiple times over the last 7 years, and I can share some bigger strategies and quick tips on how to do it. And this is it for today. Thank you so much for joining me. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Here I've selected some other videos that you might like. And remember to subscribe, and I'll see you over in the next one.